Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your July 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Pisces be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. How will Pisces be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Oh, goodness. How will Pisces be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Pisces. How will Pisces be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Excuse me. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, and we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. And then we have the 10 of Pentacles, which is beautiful, and the 7 of Wands. In our hearts, we have the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The full moon is in Aquarius, so this is going to be quite powerful for us. And then it's the 5 of Wands. Interesting. We have the 6 of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the Crone, which is Leo energy, which is where the new moon is on the 8th of August. Now, on the 23rd of July, the full moon is in Aquarius, but people could argue that it's also in Capricorn because up until 8:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right, the moon is in Capricorn but then moves into Aquarius, and the full moon comes in the full depth of its power at 10:37 p.m. So on the 23rd of July, the full moon is in Aquarius, and on the 22nd of August, the full moon is in Aquarius. So this is going to be quite a strong pull, especially if you're born on the cusp of Aquarius or if you have Aquarius within your chart. This moon as a Pisces you're already moon sensitive. You're represented by the moon in the major arcana. If you have Aquarius within your chart, this is going to be amplified, or if you have Leo within your chart, this is again going to be amplified. Now, this full moon is going to bring a lot of power, but also a lot of change and a lot of resurrection of the self that you thought might have been lost, might, have been a dream that couldn't be realized. Now, the full moon always tells us to surrender to the divine, because that is where our power is. Now, with the full moon in Aquarius, it says, show the world the real you. Now, this becomes a little bit complicated because of the sensitivity and the intensity around this moon. Now, the full moon is all about the home and the family, intimate relationships of the full moon now, and then also 2 weeks following the full moon in this phase. Now, opposing forces come into play during this time. Work and home, wants and needs, the person that we show to the world and the shadowed self inside. This can also be the day and the night. We find that things are going to be rather polarized, and also going to have a lot of double-edged swords to them, double sides to them. Emotions and instincts reach their peak during the full moon. So this is going to be very important to embrace our awareness and our intuition during this time, but also to understand that the moon gives us tremendous power, especially as a Pisces, especially as a person who is innately moon sensitive. If we listen to our emotional awareness, if we listen to our intuition, we're going to find that we have a bit of a superpower. And if we can hone into this, we can embrace this rather easily, Pisces, and use this as a all the time superpower, not just when the moon is full. Now, clarity of our relationships are going to come into play, but we need to be very mindful of the negative dynamics that are causing us disharmony, because we can find that we kind of pull out those negative discords and see them everywhere, instead of saying, okay, sometimes stuff happens. People are going to be very sensitive during this time, and I'm going to let it go. Letting things go during this time and standing in our own power is going to be so important. The moon is quincus Venus, and this increases our need for love and affection, but it also leads us to have tension between us and our loved ones, but also us and love in general. Self-love, understanding of self, relationships become tense because we're hypersensitive during this time. We can be hypersensitive when we're alone with ourselves. We can be hypersensitive when we're in a room surrounded by people. So we have to be very mindful. And the fact that this is because the moon is quincus Venus means that everybody's going to be feeling this way. Everybody's going to be a little bit sensitive. Everybody's going to bring a little bit extra to the table during this time, which we might not need or we might not even like. Now, the sun is going to be quincus Jupiter, which creates tension around our personal success. So we have ourselves feeling emotionally vulnerable, and because the sun is quincus Jupiter, we're going to find that we're tense around our success and the way we view ourselves as successful. So this makes us push really, really hard when it comes to work. And this can make us appear lucky because we're going to be so focused, but this can also make it so that we put all our identity into our work. And that's something we have to be mindful of, because our identity is going to be so much in our work, what we produce, that this can lead to greed and guilt and addictions. And this isn't going to be just within us. This is going to be a tendency of the world at large. So there can be an increase in the sense of vulnerability, because I have to keep on succeeding. I have to keep on pushing. Nothing is ever going to be good enough. And that's a really dangerous place to be, period. End of discussion. But for somebody who is moon sensitive, for somebody who has this energy amplified, it can really make us feel very insecure about ourselves. And if people don't accept our work the way that we're bringing it forward, it can make us feel like we've shattered, like we've just not done enough, and that's not going to be true at all. Now, Venus is going to be opposite Jupiter during this time, which is going to make the time very good for socializing and loving and relaxing. But even though all this energy is coming forward, it does lead us to a tendency of laziness and carelessness, which we have to be very mindful of, because we're going to be pushing so hard with the sun quincus Jupiter and with the moon quincus Venus. We're going to be so sensitive that we're going to have a tendency to say, you know what, forget it, I'm just walking away, I can't do this anymore. Or we kind of drop the ball right when we're at the finish line, and people are going to get annoyed at us, we're going to get annoyed at us. And what we have to say is, you know what, stop putting so much pressure, step back, enjoy, let life be rich, let life be beautiful, let it be enjoyed, instead of always pushing for more and more, because it's the more and the more that's going to really corrupt this time. Now, on the 8th of August, we have the new moon in Leo. And the new moon in Leo, and the new moon just in general, always says a new start is coming. It's time to embrace beginnings. But the new moon in Leo is saying confidence is your key to success. And there's going to be this fine line between confidence and ego and pride, because this new moon is going to amplify our ego and our pride. So we need to be able to find that balance between confidence and arrogance. And it's going to be very much, and I keep on seeing this with this new moon, it's going to be very much like being a teenager and not really knowing the difference between acting like an adult or just acting plain rude. And sometimes, teenagers can drive you up the wall. So here it's kind of like, okay, I need to step back into my power. I need to embrace with confidence who I am and how I'm moving forward. And I need to release that which is ego-based. And I need to be very mindful of the ego messing with me during this time. The new moon is going to be squared Uranus, which brings us unexpected change. But it's also a feeling as if this change is just happening and I have no control over it, which can bring anxiety and nervousness, also instability and chaos, which we're not going to like because, well, who does? So as this comes forward, what we have to realize is that our way of coping with this is going to be abrupt and impulsive. And what we have to do is step back from that energy of abruptness, and especially the impulsivity during this time, and say, you know what? I'm not just being impulsive. Impulsivity, is that a word? I think it is. And I'm not just being impulsive. I'm embracing change as it comes. And I'm not pushing against the change. I'm kind of letting the change flow over me. I'm embracing my water sign mentality, going with the ebb and the flow of the tide. Do not be impulsive, but also do not be stubborn to sticking to routines and saying it has to be just like this. It has to be just this way. This is going to be a time where we're really going to see a lot of power coming forward through flexibility and creativity and innovation and intention, and being very, very mindful, because the universe is going to be sending us messages of change. We're not going to be able to avoid that. And by sending us these messages of change, a brave new path starts to make itself known to us, if only we have the open mind to receive it. Now, let us see the energy we need to be mindful of during this time, angels and spirit guides. Now, it's the Hierophant. Now, it's interesting because the Hierophant grounds us during this period, during this moon, but we also have to be very mindful of, again, falling into a sense of rigidity, because the Hierophant is institutions, the Hierophant is traditions, and we're going to think, well, it has to be this way. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be any certain way. We have to let ourselves go and explore and become and look at things differently and open up our eyes and open up ourselves in a very open, honest, raw, real way. And this is going to be a time where we're also going to be very drawn to people who are very rigid or who play their part within an institution very, very well. And we're going to think, that's the person I want to emulate myself after, or that's the person whose advice I'm going to take. And this is a time where, even though we're going to be the most drawn to those type of people, we're going to need to step back and say, no, I need to go with the flow. I need to see and become and embrace this fluidity of being. Very much envision water. If we even just meditated and stopped whenever we found ourselves being overwhelmed and just started to envision water, just started to think of ourselves floating in the sea, or think of ourselves floating, or taking a nice bath, that's going to be something that's going to be so important to us. Now let's look at our chakra energy for this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And this is universal light. There is an aura around us, but there's also going to be an aura that we're drawn to, and it's from the soul star chakra, located 6 inches above the crown. There's going to be this sense of this light guiding us, this aura, this power of being leading us forward, and we have to embrace it. We have to be able to look at this light and to let it shine out of us. It's almost like having a little sun within us, and that's also because the Aquarius energy is representative of the star card in the major arcana. So letting the light shine forward is going to be so important. Now there's a sense of the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. It's that change that we're going to be trying to avoid in the new moon on the 8th of August. But that is going to be just such a part of us during this time, the sense of emotional understanding, the sense of change, the sense of luck being on our side, the sense of doors opening that we thought were closed. And everything's going to be opening in a way that we hadn't expected, hadn't anticipated, didn't know that we wanted. And it brings us to the Hierophant. It brings us to looking at things that are intrinsic to us, not that have to be held a certain way, but it's like, what am I married to? What is important to me? Not the person that I'm married to, though that is important. It's going to be, what is it that if I go against this for myself, I go against everything I am? What is it that I value? What is it that I honor? What is it that is so important and so valuable to me? This is going to be a guiding force during this time. There's going to be the sense of wisdom. There's going to be the sense of power. There's going to be the sense of stepping into the power of the self if we are brave enough. Now, the dying away of the old self and the rebirth of the new can make us have a moment of mourning, a moment where we say, everything is changing. Things aren't like they once were. And there can be this sense of innocence lost, or the sense of naivety stripped away. Naivety isn't necessarily a positive word, but during this time, there's going to be a wish for a simpler time, a way that just kind of embraces, that doesn't carry so much weight with it, that embraces a time where life just felt lighter, that just felt freer. And what we have to do is we have to say, but this is me. And as I transform, I'm wiser. My footprints are more deeply formed in this earth, in this power that I live in this person that I am. And it leads us to the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is wealth and prosperity that lasts for generations. So often we talk about generational curses, and those are the negativities that were passed down from generation to generation. But this is the blessings. These are the good things. This is like the chocolate chip cookie recipe that you just can't wait to bake and makes you think of Christmas. This is the beautiful things. These are the beautiful things. And here with the 10 of Pentacles, it's saying, don't be caught up in the next gadget, the next latest, greatest thing. It's time to embrace the beauty, the prosperity, and the heart of the now. It's time to look at the wealth that is around us. And it's also time to open ourselves up to knowing that there's an end of a cycle when it comes to finances, or what we value as much as money, or what we're putting so much of an emphasis on. And there's going to be this shift and this change that all of a sudden becomes quieter, but so much more important. And it's going to be something that others would so easily overlook and say that it's not worth something at all. Yet it could turn out to be a multi-million-dollar business. It could turn out to be the thing that sets you free completely. So do be mindful of it. It moves us to the 7 of Wands. And the 7 of Wands is very much knowing that, and being aware of, that I am not going to fight anymore. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to defend myself when need be, but life doesn't need to be a constant battle, day in and day out. I don't achieve anything or really gain anything from that endless battle. I will fight when need be. I will stand in my power. I will own the space that I am in. But it's kind of like when people talk about holding space, and it can sound very silly to say, oh, I hold space for this person. But it's like, what if I hold space for me? What if I value the world that I am walking in? What if I value the space that I'm taking up and not be apologetic for it? And instead of fighting against people who don't understand or who don't agree, I say that I'm not wasting my energy on people who will just drain me, on people who will never see, who will never understand, who will always be bitter, who will always be angry. And I stand in my space now, claiming it. There's something about leaving footprints. There's something about embracing this power and this intensity and making sure that we know that we stood here. I believe there was like this old Greek saying about leaving footprints, that when we pass, we want to make sure that we left footprints, and that the earth knew that we stood upon it, that we stood here. And that's the power during this time. And it's not to be morbid, it's to really say that as we are transforming, we are embracing this gravitas of being and acceptance and power. And we are letting the world know that we stand here and for what it is that we stand for. And it's not saying that we have to be angry or, are combative about anything. Actually, we're being very much warned against that. What it's saying is that you are the warrior queen. You are the person who will stand and who has learned and developed and become, and whose words are weapons, whose mind is a weapon. And if we focus that which is a weapon, that which is most skilled, that we are becoming most skilled at, we will find that we change the world so much more profoundly than we had thought we would before. And this is very much a sense of cutting through doubts and fears and negativity, of cutting through the layers of what people expect us to be and who we ourselves expect us to be. The sword is the only weapon within the tarot, and the sword is powerful. Now, the sword also represents the voice, and it represents the mind. And when we are water sign energies and we are the heart and the expression, when we have the voice and the mind coming forward, it's saying that these two have to move in harmony with each other. This is a time when we show the world the real us, where we call it forward with pride of voice, but we also live it in action of being and emotional heart. And this can be a time where it's kind of messy. The Five of Wands is argument for the sake of argument. It can be that, excuse me, as we're moving forward, we become afraid. And there are 18 million different reasons why not to. But there's one really good reason why to. Why to embrace the way that we want to move forward, why to move away from the chaos, why to not let ourselves stew in the chaos of the outside world. And this is a time where we start to look at where things become tangled. It's kind of like old knotted cobwebs, or it's like having a matted dog, and it's instead of trying to comb it out, the mats are so bad we can't. It's shaving it off, and it's saying, you know what, I'm starting anew. And that's going to be so important for ourselves. We're stating something and we're moving something forward. It gives us wings. It gives us the wings of a raven, and the wings of a raven are the wings of a bird that is intriguing but also terrifying, that holds a multitude of omens and meanings behind it. This is going to be a time that holds a multitude of omens and meanings behind it. And this can be a time where all of a sudden it becomes so intense that we think, okay, it's just better. Subconsciously, we're like, okay, it's just better to embrace the chaos because that's what I'm used to. That's where I can easily reside. And this is going to be a time where it's like, no, don't fall into the cobwebs, don't fall into the tangles, shave it off, become free. And then we have the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles here is very interesting. The woman is giving to these two people. They have their hands out. One is giving her a gift. The other is hiding their prosperity from her. And this is going to be a time where we find ourselves giving. And we're going to be giving to people who appreciate it. But we're also going to find ourselves very much trying to please the people who don't appreciate it, who are hiding something from us, who are being manipulative or underhanded in some way or another. And we need to step back and say, why? Why am I wasting my energy on a person who doesn't even care? And it moves us then to the King of Pentacles. It moves us to a place of prosperity and saying, this is my wealth. This is my power. This is my prosperity. This is my abundance. This is what I'm holding on to. This is why. This is what's sacred to me. This is what's important. These are the seeds that I have planted and the bounty that I have grown. And the King of Pentacles is seen. The Queen is more behind the scenes. Our hearts are going to be more behind the scenes during this time. We don't want everybody knowing our emotional business. We're working things out to become astoundingly powerful, and we're getting rid of so much of the chaos that has held us back. But the King of Pentacles in the public arena, people are going to be drawn to this, aura of universal light, this aura of power and the soul star chakra and this pull forward. And people are going to see us as a person who is successful, as a person who is powerful, maybe not in a traditional way, but in a way that they are going to be a little bit in awe of. And it leads us to the crone, which is strength. It leads us to a wisdom that has been earned over time. It leads us to a powerful connection to the new moon and the darkness, and what and what is understood in the silence. It's like all the meaning is held between the words, not simply in the words that are said. And that's going to be very important for us. That is really going to move us forward during this time. There's also a sense of power that is going to be overlooked by others. And the power that is overlooked by others is going to be the most intrinsically life-changing for us. And we're going to kind of think that people are fools for not seeing the intensity that we see. And that's because the lion walks with us. That's because we are guarded during this time. Now let's see what the moon has to say for herself. How will Pisces be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. How will Pisces be affected by the July 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So at our rooted self, we have the energy is gaining momentum, nourishment. It is bringing us nourishment, like we've been starved, and now we are starting to get full. We are starting to take in what we have desperately been needing. And it's the power of this moon, but it's also the power of ourselves and the energy about the moon. It's opening ourselves up to the ebb and flow of our own personality. Meditate and contemplate. Spirit talked about this before. Meditating in the silence of the moon, but meditating in the silence, in the stillness of ourselves. There's going to be a resistance, but there's going to be such power that comes forward from that simple act. And it's not going to be simple. There's going to be the chaos that comes out that makes us think, oh no, I can't. But the fact of the matter is oh yes, I can. Be bold and make the first move. The path, though it seems terrifying, it becomes clearer and clearer. Have faith in your dreams. The darkness, and Spirit was talking about the darkness before. The darkness is important. The in-betweens of things is going to be intrinsic to us during this time. Energy is gaining momentum. Nourish yourself. Nourish yourself with this energy. Meditate and contemplate. The silent moments are going to be the best. We're going to think, I have to fight, but it's going to be, I have to rejoice in that which is sacredly beautiful for me, that which makes me feel alive within my body, my soul, myself. There's going to be a resistance to the quiet. There's going to be a resistance to the meditation. Don't let it overwhelm you, okay? Grow through what is trying to squash it down. And it's so funny. I always think it's very funny that her nails are done. It's like, it's beautiful, but it's still going to try and stop us. Be bold and make the first move. The path, I mean, it's a rickety ladder going up into space, right? Going up into a portal that, brings us to the new moon, but also that brings us to the unknown. And so here it's like, do I have the faith within myself? And there's going to be a good part of ourselves that says, no, I don't. I can't move forward this way. And yet there's going to be this opening, this power, this determination that says, make the first move, be bold, go after it. If not now, then when? If not you, then who gets to be successful? And why them over you? Have faith in your dreams. The darkness, the quiet, brings profound and endless realizations. This is a time to embrace the darkness. That's why one of the opposing forces was the dark and the light, the day and the night. And it sounds silly to say that, but we're going to find that so much more comes to us at night than during the day. The subconscious Luna message for this time is a personal issue reaches resolution. The masculine, the sacred masculine. It's like the personal issue reaches the resolution. We have to embrace the sacred masculine aspect of ourselves and not say it's toxic or harmful or anything like that, but say it's brilliant and a part of my soul and a part of my being. The sacred feminine and the sacred masculine come together to make a powerful, unstoppable person. And so here, when we embrace the feminine energy of the moon, we also embrace the masculine energy of of the moon and of the cycle of self and of the wisdom of understanding and it's kind of like the maiden mother crone, but it's the youth, the adult, and the wisdom comes forward. And we embrace that in all aspects of life, in all cycles of life. It brings us then to the subconscious energy we need to be mindful of, and that is the Princess of Pentacles. Now, it can be this energy, it's this energy that acts like a princess, this energy of, do it new, do it different, break the norms, just kind of like jump, but there's going to be nothing to back it. This is just somebody who is just irritatingly entitled. And we have to be very mindful of this because we're going to be very drawn in by their arrogance, and we're going to misconstrue their arrogance for confidence, okay? That's going to be something that is going to be tricky for us during this time. And then the chakra energy that subconsciously comes forward is communication. We're going to be communicating on higher levels. We're going to be taking so much more conversations than people mean us to take away. This is going to be a time where if you're artistic, the information you're getting from spirit, let it shine forward. But this is also a time where anything that you're doing is going to have a certain spark to it, Pisces. Let it shine through. It doesn't matter if you're balancing your checkbook or if you're, painting. This is going to be a time where the communication, where the insight is needed. Take it, but also know that people aren't meaning for you to see so deeply into them. The subconscious, rooted self is the Emperor. Claim your throne, claim your power, claim your prosperity. This is again the sacred masculine. This is again the warrior spirit coming forward because Ares was the god of war in ancient Greece. This is a time to take the power and claim it rightfully, justfully, and passionately for yourself. At our roots, it's like, this is me and this is what I want. I'm not being led. I am leading. Our subconscious inner self is the Three of Wands. New horizons come forward, but it's new horizons guided by the moon. It's new horizons that come in the darkness, that come in the silence, that come in the times that other people overlook. It brings us then to our subconscious inner self. Which is the Nine of Wands. It's time to stop listening to what everybody else has to say. The subconscious emotional self is done trying to be everything to everyone else. Our head is bandaged, our arm is in a sling. It's like, I'm done with this. I can't take it anymore. I need to embrace the knowledge and the beauty and the wisdom that is right for me, that moves me forward in honor and in grace. And I'm stronger than I thought I was. That is something we need to remind ourselves. Our subconscious public self is the Queen of Swords once again. We are the warrior queen. We do not need everybody to know that we are a warrior, but we are. And we're cutting away that which is no longer needed. We're detangling ourselves. We're cutting through the cobwebs and the doubts and the fears and the muck and the mire. And we're standing strong and firm within our voice, within our desires, within our dreams. And we are going to find ourselves fiercely charging forward towards a greatness we know we are born to live. And it doesn't mean that everybody has to know our name and we have to have the big house on top of the hill. What it means is that we become contented with our lives. We become joyful and blissful within ourselves. And that brings jealousy in and of itself. All right, Pisces, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the beauty of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Pisces, and may you have a blessed moon.